Welcome to another episode of Is This for Kids? I'm Jonathan Beard of Blevins, married husband, father of three, one on the way. And I think that most media made for children is not worth watching.
I'm Katie, MrsRuvi. I'm a mother of five, from teenagers down to preschooler. I guess she's almost 4, married. And I think that most of the media out there that's marketed to children can be redeemed, or it's harmless.
Except for this one. Just kidding. Go ahead.
No. Like, that's the case in this particular movie. What are we talking about today?
Gracie and Pedro. We actually, very thankful, we got an early release of this. We got to watch it. I watched it on my phone. I've never watched a movie
so weird.
all the way through on my phone, especially an early release movie.
Yeah, I watched it in my closet.
That's weirder. Gracie and Pedro, the animated version of Homeward Bound.
Kind of, yeah. That was... No, when I was looking or watching the movie, I was like, okay, this is kind of the same plot as Homeward Bound, but instead of getting left with the neighbor friend, they get lost in what appears to be a remake of that scene from the Polar Express. Do you remember in the Polar Express when they're like going through the presents on the what are those called? Not treadmills.
The trains. Polar Express was a train.
No, when they're in the North Pole,
okay,
and there's all those conveyor belts, and they like get dropped into stuff, and it's all these like drops and sudden like this peril scene. That's what happens to the animals when they're trying to get loaded on the plane.
Yep.
It's the same scene. I was like, that was tedious the first time.
The story of Gracie and Pedro, house pets that get lost and have to make their way back to their owners.
Yeah, they're moving from California to Utah and get lost in the meantime.
Star-studded cast. Unfortunately, all the stars are very minor roles.
Yeah, Susan Sarandon is in there. Bill Nighy is kind of a big role, and the guy who does the fish, Trejo is his last name. I can't think of his first name now. Anyway, I like him. I think he's funny. He's Tortuga from Breaking Bad.
What did you think?
From a shield shepherd perspective, so we always like to tell you like what in the movie that you might want to shield your kids from, like things that are just inappropriate, conversations that come up that you might want to shepherd them through, and how you can share in the movie. From a shield perspective, there's really not anything in there that's inappropriate. Mild language, the pets are unkind to each other, and different than Homeward Bound, like they're not getting quippy with each other, they're kind of just mean.
Yeah, I agree with you. There's not much to shield from. The way that they treat each other is how it's like exactly how I don't want my kids treating each other, which is annoying.
Yeah.
So it might encourage that, but it's not a huge deal. Yeah.
As far as like appropriateness for children, I would say there's nothing in there that I'm worried about. This is a pure kids movie, meaning parents are not going to have a great time, I don't think. Like it's not for parents. It's not harmful.
It reminds me of Despicable Me 4. And there's movies like this where I think are kind of necessary if you're just having one of those days where your kids, you just need to go do something for an hour and a half and you want to make sure the movie's okay to put on. This is fine. Yeah. They'll like it. There's not a ton in there that you need to shield them from, other than what I said. And you can just go and do the dishes or whatever that it is that you need to get done. Very much like Despicable Me 4. Just kind of like, this movie was made for parents who want to like give their kids something to watch.
Yeah, exactly. So like from a shepherd perspective, there's nothing in there. Like there's not any deep concepts that come up that you're going to want to talk about. So when we talk about a movie that's like safe to walk away from, what we mean is exactly what you're saying. Like your kid's you don't need to have a follow-up conversation. There was no learning experience to be had here. And there's also nothing that's going to harm them. You don't need to worry that your kid's going to come around saying something crazy afterwards. But to that end, it's not really true, good, beautiful, like nothing. It's forgettable.
Yeah, 100% forgettable. It is one of those movies where you could just test your child's morality. You could just have a conversation with your 4-year-old after and be like, was the dog nice to the cat?
Yeah.
And if they say no, you're doing a great job as a parent.
Great. You're killing it. Absolutely killing it. From a share perspective, the thing that this isn't very nice. I'm so sorry. I know that you people who made this movie, you made it and you're probably proud of it. And
no, you're not proud of it. You're lazy, and you were lazy about it.
Maybe
you filmed it in 20 minutes. I mean, like, you know what I mean? Like all the actors that you paid money to be in it were in it for 20 minutes.
Yeah. But I don't want to be unkind.
You used the same CGI that Sonic used before they changed it.
That's the joke that's the share that we're making. So like my kids and I watched this movie. We got the pre-release of it. And my son was like, do you think that the guy who made the first Sonic made this movie? And I was like, what? And so we went and looked up, go look it up. Sonic, before they fixed him in the Sonic movies, had these wild teeth.
Not much to share, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But you know what? If you're looking for a movie that is harmless and that can give you some time to go do something around the house, Gracie and Pedro is definitely that.
Yeah, and you've said before that like the worst a movie should be for kids is this.
Yes. There's nothing weird in there. There's no hidden agendas in there. It is just a silly movie. It's just a bad Homeward Bound.
Bad Homeward Bound. Yeah. Well,
Homeward Bound is classic. We have an episode on that. IsThisForKids.com. Go to our YouTube channel. You can look up all of the episodes that we've done in the past. I would say this is appropriate for ages 3 and up.
Same. Yeah. If they can sit through a movie, they can sit through this. Although they might lose attention.
And if your kids are easily influenced by like insults, then you're going to be hearing a lot of annoying insults around your house for a few days after that.
Absolutely. So not a lot to tell you about this one, but if you have other things that you would like us to review, definitely drop them in the comments below. We'll check those out. If you happen to have made a children's movie that you want us to look at, let us know. We'll look at it.
Yeah, we love releases. We're super excited for somebody to reach out that has a really awesome movie for us to review.
Yeah, wonderful. There's so much content out there for us to wade through as parents.
I'm Jonathan Beard of Blevins.
I'm Katie, MrsRuvi. Let us help you decide.
Is this for kids?